Every single day, over 2 billion people reheat their leftovers. They assume that if food is heated thoroughly enough, it is automatically safe to eat. That assumption is costing lives. Here is a number I want you to remember: 1 in 6. That is the proportion of all cancer cases worldwide that researchers now associate with dietary factors, including the way food is stored, reheated, and consumed. According to data published in the journal CA, a cancer journal for clinicians, poor dietary habits are the second leading modifiable risk factor for cancer worldwide, ranking just behind tobacco use. Yet almost no one is talking about what happens to certain foods at the molecular level when they are reheated for a second time, whether in the microwave or on the stovetop. The chemical reactions that take place are completely silent. You cannot see them. You cannot smell them. But they are happening inside your food and then inside your body. My name is Dr. William. I've spent more than 15 years studying nutritional biochemistry and the relationship between food science and preventive oncology. Today, I'm going to show you 4 foods that you are almost certainly reheating. Foods that are probably sitting in your refrigerator right now, which undergo documented, scientifically verified chemical transformations when reheated. Transformations that carry a measurable cancer risk. Stay with me until the end of this video, because the 4th food on this list is one that almost every health-conscious person believes is completely safe. That belief, however, is dangerously mistaken. Before we go any further, I want you to understand something important. This is not about a minor inconvenience. This is not about an upset stomach or temporary food poisoning. What we are discussing is the slow, cumulative buildup of carcinogenic compounds inside your body over months and years. The kind of silent damage that often goes unnoticed until it becomes extremely difficult to reverse. Cancer rarely develops overnight. It is a gradual process, a slow progression. The building blocks of that process, free radicals, advanced glycation end products, nitrosamines, and lipid peroxidation byproducts, often enter your body not through cigarette smoke or industrial pollution, but through your own kitchen. The World Health Organization has classified several compounds formed during the reheating of certain foods as Group 1 or Group 2A carcinogens. Group 1 means there is conclusive evidence that the substance causes cancer in humans. Group 2A means it is probably carcinogenic to humans. These are not theoretical concerns. They are documented chemical reactions that occur in your kitchen, on your stovetop, or inside your microwave every time the wrong foods are reheated the wrong way. And here is the part that should concern you the most. The people at greatest risk are not those with unusual eating habits. They are ordinary people who believe they are making healthy food choices, lean proteins, cooked vegetables, rice, and eggs. These are the 4 food categories we are going to examine today. After watching this video, you will never look at your leftovers the same way again. Before we continue, let me briefly explain why I am qualified to discuss this topic, not to impress you, but because in a world overflowing with health misinformation, you deserve to know who is giving you advice and why that advice is credible. I completed my medical training with a focus on internal medicine, followed by advanced fellowship training in nutritional biochemistry. Over the past 15 years, my research has focused specifically on how cooking methods, heat exposure, food storage, and food reheating alter the molecular structure of macronutrients and generate byproducts that interact with human DNA and cellular metabolism. For this video, I have reviewed hundreds of peer-reviewed scientific studies. Every claim I make is supported by published research from respected journals, including Food Chemistry, the Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry, Carcinogenesis, and The Lancet Oncology. I will explain the underlying mechanisms in clear, easy-to-understand language because the science is real, the evidence is strong, and you deserve to understand it. I am not here to sell you a supplement. I am not here to scare you into purchasing a course. I am here because preventive medicine begins with knowledge, and the information I'm about to share could genuinely help protect you and your family. Before we discuss the specific foods, I need to give you a brief but essential introduction to food chemistry. Please do not skip this section. It is the key to understanding everything that follows. When food is cooked for the first time, heat produces predictable and generally manageable chemical reactions. Proteins unfold, starches gelatinize, and fats emulsify. These are normal processes. However, when you reheat food that has already undergone these changes, especially food that has been stored in a refrigerator for several hours or even several days, an entirely different set of reactions begins to occur. First, oxidation. Fats and proteins that have been exposed to oxygen during storage become chemically unstable. When heat is applied again, these already damaged molecules break down even further into compounds known as lipid peroxides and malondialdehyde, both of which are well-documented agents capable of damaging DNA. Second, the Maillard reaction gone wrong. The Maillard reaction is responsible for the rich flavor and appealing brown color of many cooked foods. However, when proteins and sugars are repeatedly exposed to high temperatures, they can produce compounds known as advanced glycation end products, AGEs. These compounds promote chronic inflammation, one of the major biological drivers of cancer development. Third, nitrite conversion. Certain foods, particularly those naturally high in nitrates, undergo bacterial conversion while they are stored in a refrigerator. When these foods are reheated, the nitrates are converted into nitrites, which can then be further transformed into nitrosamines, compounds that the World Health Organization classifies as probable or confirmed carcinogens. Three mechanisms: oxidation, advanced glycation, nitrosamine formation. Keep these three terms in mind as we go through each food, because you will see one or more of these mechanisms involved in every example we discuss. Food number 1, cooked rice. Rice is the most widely consumed staple food on Earth. More than 3 billion people rely on rice as their primary source of calories. Billions of those people reheat leftover rice every single day. It is a deeply ingrained habit across nearly every culture in the world. However, there is a serious problem with this practice, one that has very little to do with the reheating process itself and everything to do with what happens during the time the rice spends in the refrigerator between the first cooking and the second. As cooked rice cools, it becomes an almost ideal environment for the growth of a bacterium known as Bacillus cereus. This is not a rare contaminant. It is naturally present in raw rice. It survives the initial cooking process and can multiply rapidly in cooked rice that is left at room temperature or stored in the refrigerator for extended periods. When you reheat the rice, the heat may kill the bacteria, but it does not destroy the heat-resistant toxins they have already produced. Those toxins survive the microwave, they survive the stovetop, and they enter your digestive system intact. However, while the bacterial risk is significant, it is not the primary cancer concern. The cancer concern is this: Bacillus cereus produces a toxin called cereulide, which laboratory studies have shown can damage the mitochondria inside human cells. Mitochondrial dysfunction is recognized as one of the early biological events that can contribute to malignant cellular transformation, the process by which a healthy cell gradually becomes cancerous. There is another, less frequently discussed but equally important concern associated with reheated rice. Repeated heating of starch-rich foods increases the formation of acrylamide, a chemical compound produced when natural sugars react with the amino acid asparagine under high heat. The International Agency for Research on Cancer, IARC, classifies acrylamide as a group 2A carcinogen, meaning it is probably carcinogenic to humans. So what should you do instead? Whenever possible, cook rice fresh. If you need to store it, Spread it out on a shallow tray immediately after cooking so it cools quickly. Refrigerate it within 1 hour. Consume it within 24 hours. And never reheat rice more than once. Food number 2, cooked chicken. Here is something that may surprise you. Chicken is the world's most popular lean protein. Doctors, dietitians, bodybuilders, and health-conscious families all recommend it and frequently build their meals around cooked chicken. And when leftover chicken ends up in the refrigerator, almost everyone reheats it. This is where the problem begins. When proteins, particularly those found in animal muscle tissue, are exposed to high temperatures for a second time, they undergo a process known as protein oxidation. One consequence of this process is the formation of compounds called heterocyclic amines, HCAs. HCAs are not a controversial topic in nutrition science. They are among the most extensively researched dietary carcinogens in the scientific literature. Once HCAs enter the body, liver enzymes metabolize them into highly reactive compounds that can bind directly to DNA. This interaction with DNA can produce genetic mutations. Mutations affecting critical genes, especially tumor suppressor genes, represent one of the primary mechanisms through which cancer begins. A landmark study published in Carcinogenesis found that individuals who frequently consumed well-done or reheated poultry had a statistically significant increase in the risk of colorectal cancer. A separate analysis conducted by the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health found that frequent consumption of reheated, processed chicken was associated with an increased risk of pancreatic cancer, one of the deadliest forms of cancer, with a 5-year survival rate of only 11%. Foods number 3 and 4 are the ones most people misunderstand. Food number 3 primarily affects people who take pride in maintaining a clean, healthy diet. Food number 4 is something that nutritionists and physicians routinely recommend eating, yet the risks associated with reheating it remain almost completely unknown to the general public. If you find this type of evidence-based, practical health information valuable, I encourage you to subscribe to this channel. I publish one new video every week, and each one follows the same approach as this video. Peer-reviewed scientific research translated into practical information that you can actually apply. No hype, no supplements, no hidden agenda, just the science and what it means for your health. Food number 3, spinach and other nitrate-rich leafy greens. Spinach is arguably one of the most celebrated vegetables in healthy eating. It is rich in iron, folate, magnesium, and powerful antioxidants.